My hat! Hello and welcome. So if you've been following my channel, you probably saw a Tamiya man truck build, and I'm about to build another one. So this is a second truck, except for this one is going to get ball bearings. So before I started the build, I just want to let you know, this is one of the must upgrades that you should get for your Tamiya, which is ball bearings. Now this kit, this is a Tamiya TT01E chassis sealed bearing kit, TFE 930, and this will replace all the bushings, and there's actually some other bushings for the steering that will be replaced as well, but these you can just toss, give away. You get rid of the brass bearings as well as the plastic ones, and the reason why you want to do this is it eliminates some of the friction. There's less friction. Bearings are smoother running, and then you can just oil them when you service them, versus these will eventually wear out. So if you've had some old RCs, let's just say you've been just running it back to back or for a long period of time, you'll notice that the plastic will actually start to wear out faster than, for example, the brass bushings. And brass bushings, they just create heat. I mean, the only reason why you have these bushings is so you don't damage the actual parts. Versus ball bearings, these are fully sealed ball bearings, but they will just roll because, well, of the bearings inside. That's the reason why. So I'm going to build all of this off camera. Since you've already seen the other build, it's going to be the same thing. But from time to time, I'm going to show you where the bearings go. So you're not going to see everything in detail. I'm just going to show you where the bearings go. Alright, so this is the very first bearing, so you're going to need this size here, and right off the bat, as soon as you start building, this is the very first bearing. So it's just going to go in there, you're going to drop the collar in. So that bearing is just replacing a bushing, that is all that it is doing. And you just go through your normal installation of the parts. Well, I'll complete this off camera, but that's where the first bearing goes. The next set of bearings, I'm actually combining pages. So you're going to need them on the differentials, and for these, you're just going to grab, I think it's the larger ones. Yes, it's the larger ones. So you're going to need these over here, and then just put them in the differentials. And once you build one differential, the other differential you build the exact same. So just placing the bearings, getting these ready to drop them in, and I'm going to get the other two large ones, and these will go in here. Now also to skip pages, so you see the hubs, just go ahead and put the bearing that goes inside. So it's going to be these other ones over here. Just go ahead and drop it in place. You should be able to use your finger to put them in there. If not, then what you can do is you can use your just any Phillips screwdriver, and you can just press on the metal part, not the rubber, and that'll push them in. Or you can actually use one of your little cups here, these little spindles, and just push them in. So it's easier if you use the spindles. But I'm going to go ahead and set these in, just so they're all in there. And this is why bearings are so important, because you're using them for these crucial components where most of the friction would take place. Keep in mind that you're racing, this is constantly rolling. This is why you really want ball bearings instead. Now you're also going to need some bearings on the outside, so I guess at this point might as well place them. So you're going to need a bearing inside and outside of your carriers. So let's see, there we go. So we have all four of these. Now I'm going to continue with the build. There's a few more bearings that we're going to need. We'll get to them. The other bearings that you will need will actually be in here and in here, so we might as well place those. And these should slide right in, and then they'll just clip on. So that's the one that goes on that end shaft. And then this one right over here. And this one I actually needed to install before the differential. And the reason why is because the differential is going to drop right in here. And actually, I forgot this gear. This gear goes in here. There we go. And then the differential will just drop in there. So you need to have those bearings already installed. And these are very important places to have ball bearings. So we will keep going. We actually need to build the rear. We already have the bearings here and there, so this will be ready to drop in. Alright, and for your last bearing, for this one here, I actually took it out, but you have a second bearing that goes in there. That's your last bearing. And you drop this in, turn it. Now make sure it's, put a little bit of grease in there. And for me, I find it easier to actually assemble the front end. This is something that I learned later on. My first build, I did go page by page. It was fine, but to be honest, it's better to do sections of the build. So build the rear end and then install it, and then do the front end and install it. And it's much easier this way. Then your final bearings, let me just mount this here. Your final bearings, let's see, even easier this, there we go. Your final bearings are going to go here, and that's for the steering. So those little guys, those little small ones, you have one on each side, and that's it. So everything in this model has bearings now. There's no bushings, plastic or brass. It is all bearings. Right, so after you've installed all of the bearings, I mean, this is what my cat looks like. I just finished painting it, so these are the colors I like running. But the final thing is the body clips. Now, the body clips are all pretty small. So what you want to do is you want to take these tie straps, the small ones, whatever small ones you can get, and you want to run them through the body clip. Now the square, run that through the inside so that it ends up on top. And you're just going to push it through the body clip, pull on this, and the reason why is once you strap this, and you start to pull, before you trim it, see, it's going to be pointing up. Now, you can always flip it, flip the body clip, that's fine. But the reason why you want to have these is so that you can easily remove them. That's the reason why. I mean, you could attach a piece of string, something else, but a tie strap just lasts longer. But, you know, if you want to use a piece of string, piece of wire, you can use a piece of wire. But this is just easy. It's just a lot easier to pull on the body clips. And then, again, trim them to size. You don't need this to be that long. I'm going to be trimming them right about here. Well, think about your thumb. That's all you need. You just need enough for your thumb to pull on the tie strap. That is it. So therefore, I will be trimming these right about there. That's enough for me to grip it with my thumb and my index, and then just pull on the body clip. Now, this one here, one of the other differences too between this one and the other one that I built, the other one that I built was not going to be raced. This one is, so just to have a little bit of the edge, and this is a recommendation, if you're going to be competing, the arms, make sure you put a little bit of grease in there. If you lost the plastic grease, don't worry about it. To be honest, you can use some petroleum jelly such as Vaseline and then just grease the arms, the joints in there. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do. So bearings on everything, and then just grease every single joint that you have lightly. Do not use black grease. Black grease is too sticky. Use a plastic grease or a petroleum jelly. Those are not as sticky. So that's it, pretty much. This is ready to run, so I'll be running this during the weekend, and we'll see how I do, how many times I flip this thing over. All right, thanks for watching.